So here we have the grammar of South Asian English. So apart from the grammar that we imitate the native speakers of English, the South Asian speakers, they have their own unique features when we are talking about the grammar used by them. Again, they have listed into points here. The first one is the South Asian speakers are more attracted towards complex sentences, okay, the usage of complex sentences. So maybe they wanted to show their learned style. Maybe because of that they may be used to the complex sentences. That is one unique features of the South Asian English. And secondly, they make a certain deviant construction. Deviant meaning which is not used in the native speakers. The sentence structure, if you check, no, it will be somewhat different compared to the native speakers of English. And why this such type of things occur? Maybe the intrusion of mother tongue. So depending on the mother tongue, the construction of sentences will vary from the British English. For example, they have listed out a few examples under the deviant construction. For example, interrogative sentences are often formed without subject auxiliary inversion. You know what is called as interrogative sentences? It is nothing but the questions. So when we frame questions, we forget to transfer or reverse the subject and auxiliary. So this is a common mistake made by the South Asian English. So if you look at the examples given here, why you are late? This is interrogative since you have the question mark. But is that proper? No. Actual question should be like, why are you late? Isn't it? Why are you late? That will be the proper interrogative framing. But here we forgot to interchange. And again, similarly, when you will come. So what is the proper way of making a question? When will you come? So this type of mistakes are common in South Asian English. And apart from that, they are talking about the question tags, tag questions. So you are going today, isn't it? He isn't going there, isn't it? So do you think these are proper tag questions? No. You are going today, aren't you? He isn't going there, is he? So that will be the proper question tag, isn't it? So but what we are most attracted towards is only towards isn't it. So whatever is the verb or subject used, we are not bothered anything at all, but simply we use isn't it. So this is again one more mistake made by the South Asian English. And in the third point, they talk about the progressive form. You know what is called as progressive form? Adding ing. So certain words, they don't take ing at all in British English, but the South Asian English, they don't bother about that. Simply they add ing, which becomes ungrammatical. For example, he is having 2 pens. So do you think it is grammatical to add ing here to have? But still the South Asian speaker tend to add ing. Similarly, I am understanding you. So what is very ungrammatical? That is adding ing here. I understand you. That will be the proper British English. Okay, here again he is having 2 pens. He has 2 pens. So that will be grammatical. So these are common mistakes, that is adding ing, that is making progressive forms, which is not necessary. And in the fourth point, they talk about the usage of articles, that is both definite and indefinite article, a, an, and the. And South Asian English, almost they are very, very erratic when they are using the articles. We never bother about using a, an, or the. Simply we put one article. Okay, this is a very, very common mistake made by the South Asian English. And apart from that, last point they're talking about is reduplication of lexical items. Lexical item is nothing but a word, okay, content word or something. So reduplication is repeating. So here they have given an example: hot coffee, long hair, very tired, or something like that. No, so again South Asian English tend to use reduplication of lexical item. Simply just for fun we do it. So this again is a unique feature under South Asian English. So under South Asian English, we just went across the phonetics and phonology, and then we looked into the grammar part of South Asian English. So with these two subtopics, we come to an end to the South Asian English. And now we will jump to a very short topic that is called as collocations. Okay, so collocations are nothing but words or phrases that belong to South Asian language and which is being translated into English. Okay, I mean South Asian English, that is the South Asian language words when translated into English language, that is called as collocations. And here they have given a few examples that come under collocations. So the first one, no, if you just look into the textbook, twice born. Okay, twice born. So this word is taken from the Sanskrit word Dvijin. Okay, I don't know if I pronounce properly. Dvijin from Sanskrit word they have taken and translated into English as twice born. Okay, and one more word to talk about is there are many here. Rice eating. Okay, and then cow worship, brother anointing, so many, etc. So these are some of the collocations taken from Indian language to that of translated to that of English language. When talking about collocations, they are dividing the dictionary which has been compiled for the collocations into two types. Okay, so there are dictionaries that is compiled for the collocations specially, and this type of dictionary is divided into two types. One is actually context bound and the other for the hybridized items. So what is called as context bound is the words that typically refers to the South Asian context. Such type of words come under context bound collocations. Okay, so for example, if you just look into the words like chutney or panchayat or coolie, zamindar, so such type of words will come under context bound collocations. So why? Because they specially typically stand for South Asian context. Okay, and second division is hybridized item. Hybrid, the word hybrid, you can understand, hybrid is nothing but the fusion of two things, isn't it? So what you have under hybridized collocation is you join the South Asian language to that of English elements. That becomes the hybridized items. For example, British Sarkar, British being English and Sarkar is Indian language. Okay, and then Tonga driver, Tonga is an Indian language, driver is English language. And then here police wala, police is English language and wala is Indian language. So when you are combining an English word to that of an Indian word, that becomes a hybridized collocation. Clear? So that is what is the second type. And first type is context bound. Context bound is nothing but words that stands for the particular South Asian context. For example, zamindar. So zamindar in the context of South Asian English, no? So I mean South Asian context, it will fit properly. So such type of words which fit to the context of South Asia, that is called as context bound collocations. And hybridized collocation is nothing but where you have the fusion of English word and an Indian word. That is called as hybridized collocations. And apart from the two, that is context bound and hybridized items that come under the lexical dictionaries of South Asian lexis, you have one more type also, that is called as semantic reduplication. Semantic reduplication, reduplication itself you should know, that is repetition. Okay, so when you have the repetition of the same meaning, that is called as semantic reduplication. For example, lati chanch, sorry, lati stick. So you know what is the meaning of stick? Lati also means stick. So here what it is actually repetition of the same thing only. It's lati is also stick, stick is also stick. So it actual meaning is stick, stick. So such type of things come under semantic reduplication. And one more example, cotton, kapas. Cotton, you know, in kapas also means cotton. Okay, so again it is a repetition of cotton, cotton, cotton. That's what we are telling here. So that is again a semantic reduplication. So all these are examples of collocations.